Hello, our dear friends. We are glad to welcome you to the International Roundtable, which is a continuation of the conference Global Crisis that already affects everyone. This conference was organized and initiated and organized by volunteers from all over the world. It was simultaneously interpreted by volunteers into 72 languages and took place on July 24th, 2021. The topics raised during the conference are vitally important for every person. Many specialists from all over the world, experts and businessmen, people of different professions and spheres, they talked about artificial intelligence, about the implementation, pros and cons of this technology, and also about ecological and climate crisis and climate refugees. This event united people from all corners of the world.
Thank you, Anna. And I'm happy to announce that we are already preparing the next conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, which is going to take place on December 4th. And even more people are taking part in preparation, and even more information will be presented. Even more specialists from different spheres of science and studies are going to present data that proves how much important it is to unite our potential right now and build a better future for ourselves and future generations. And this one will be also simultaneously translated to even more languages, because people are joining from all over the world, and everyone should know the truth.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Tali. And we would like to welcome our today's dear guests of our International Roundtable. Thank you for joining us, Logan Griffin from USA, intuitive energy healer, yogi, spiritual guide, life coach, author, meditation teacher, and multiple spiritual disciplines instructor. Also, welcome to this roundtable, entrepreneur from Russian Federation, Aydin Mangush. And thank you, dear Zakia Khan from India, a social and women political activist. Thank you for joining us today. And so we would like to, before we begin, let's just see the first video, and then we will continue with the first question.
Modern civilization has entered the stage of instability and global crisis.
The future has already arrived. In the field of artificial intelligence, I really understand that today we see tremendous opportunities and possibilities.
We will have human-level intelligence in terms of problem solving, and that we could have that pretty soon.
And in the consumer society we live in today, it will leave us jobless.
Hello, you are fired.
Every owner of some corporation will create a number of machines, fill it with artificial intelligence, so a human being will simply become out of demand in this chain. Millions of people around the world have already become climate refugees. The events are developing at a shocking speed. The force of cataclysms is growing in progression. Their frequency is increasing every day.
What you can see here is in red are the amount of this particular characteristic of the planet, that is left. And we can see that in many cases we have lost more than 60, 50, 60, 70% of this particular ecosystem or species.
We're eating our planet. Maybe it's time we realize our responsibility and solve our problems together.
Because sudden large-scale natural disasters occur on the planet on a daily basis. And there are fewer and fewer safe places.
Soon, everyone will be hungry, barefoot, naked, Because of consumerism, we are the generation that will see it through. Either we can stand up to it, or it will end with us.
180 countries on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement.
It is broadcast live on thousands of YouTube and other streaming channels. Moreover, thanks to volunteers from around the world who understand the importance of this event, the conference is simultaneously translated into 72 languages.
The main value in a creative society is human life, the life of your children, your loved ones.
Only together can we find solutions. And we all want peace and happiness. And together we can create this world.
So this video is a very good illustration of what exactly is going on to our planet right now and what kind of tremendous crisis we have in all spheres of our life, ecology, climate, and technological progress of our civilization. Let's hear impressions of our guests regarding this conference, and let's start with Ms. Zakia Khan, please.
Hi everyone, good evening. In fact, it's night over here almost. It's great to, get connected to Alamtara because you people are doing really a great job connecting so many from different profession, from different field. You are connecting so many people and with one motive. That is very important because this is the only way to get any change done. Now, I don't know, you want me to start with the topic? Hello?
Well, right now we're just sharing a short impression, so thank you so much for this one, and we are going to, of course, give you a chance to share your opinions later as well.
Okay, so you want... shall I give a small introduction of myself? Because as we are meeting for the first time, as been told about me, like I'm a social and women political activist, but apart from that, I'm running 2 charitable trusts of my own, and I have rescued more than 11 women from the different districts of India because of different reasons, some kind of domestic violence and other things. I have handled minor rape cases out of the court, and almost with the help of, my luck and God wishes, they are already under the preliminary actions. And apart from this, with the media house and a very active political person as well. I believe in working and, being a voice for the person who cannot raise for themselves. And this is the most percentage, quantity, especially in the women and children. So I love to do that, and I'm very, very much thankful to God that He given me this part. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Zakia. This is very important for us today to understand that really we should unite, and also we should understand that we have women, we have children. Yes, we always have someone to protect from one part and to take care of, and surely we should take care. Each of us should take care of each of us. When everyone is taking care of everyone, you don't feel any need. You just happy and free. So this is very important. Thank you so much. And I would like also to ask Aydin, what impressed you the most in this conference? Could you share it with us, please?
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья.
Greetings, dear friends. Thank you so much for this invitation on this round table. This is a huge honor. Of course, the conference was large scale. You can even say shocking, because all the facts which were shown at the conference, they are really shocking. Sometimes you just live and not aware what happens with ecology and climate, because what is being told in mass media about global warming, about climate change, they say that in 30 or even 100 years something will change. But it turns out that it is already really serious and really sad. And this conference, it actually gathered and made holistic picture. I've heard already some facts regarding climate, ecology, artificial intelligence, but after watching this conference and analyzing the information, it becomes clear that it's very serious, this global crisis that we are facing, and something needs to be done. We need to find the ways out. And of course, there was a way out of this crisis. The way out is to build creative society. Thank you
so much, Aiden. And yes, really, we sometimes don't realize when we watch on the news that something's happening far away, that the floodings, the wildfires, we experience more and more much closer in the areas where it's not common. And our next guest, Logan Griffin, the next person to talk, I know he's joining us from North California, which this year experienced some of the biggest wildfires in history. I think it's #1 single wildfire. Hopefully everything is good in North California now. Logan, could you tell us a little bit more about your impressions and the situation in your region?
Yes, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you and for this opportunity to participate. I'm deeply inspired by the Creative Society and the conference and this ongoing evolutionary conversation that we're all an integral part of. I'm currently here in Northern California, as you just mentioned, and even as I look out my window right now, there is smoke in the air, and the drought and the climate change effects and the fires are becoming more severe every year. In 2018, my hometown actually of Paradise, California was nearly burned to the ground. About 80% of the town burned. It was very, very tragic. My mother lost her home. Many friends and close loved ones lost nearly everything. So it's really hit home for me in a very, very deep way. And it's been very tragic. So that being said, to be inspired through that for doing everything I can to participate in proactive change. I'm involved in different social movements here in the United States, and what's most inspiring for me is this technology that's allowing us, or in part, is the technology, even right now, to be able to have this direct translation through Zoom. And what really struck me when I was on the conference and listening was the direct translation into so many different languages all around the world. And so I'm just very grateful to be here, very grateful to participate, and it is the time to change. And the growing complexity and magnitude of the global crisis is putting a slowly increasing pressure on everyone in the world as it hits home closer for them to be ready and willing to change and to do whatever's required for us as a species to unite in heart and in mind and in hand, and to come together and to come up with a comprehensive plan of action, and to have a far greater level of even more profound participation and scalability of this movement. So thank you all, and I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Logan. And we also have one more speaker today, Alexander Marchenko from Russian Federation. He is Director of Development, Recycling LLC. And we are very glad to see you today. Alexander, thank you for connecting to us. And now we are talking about the impressions on the conference global crisis. This already affects everyone. Could you also share what maybe impressed you the most on the conference, please?
Здравствуйте, друзья. Большое спасибо за приглашение.
Hello, dear friends. Thank you so much for this invitation. Yes, indeed. There are impressions after the conference, and they are really serious. Partially, I was aware of the problem. I was reading some articles about it, some books. There was a book, Armageddon, Not Everyone Will Survive. And my concerns, which were described in this book, they actually confirmed. We see already the shortages of jobs, not everyone is able to find a job, and we see implementation of automatization. And if we actually comprehend holistic picture, we understand that not a really good future awaits for us regarding jobs, regarding the ecology and the monetary system and corporations. You don't have to be really smart to understand that we won't see a bright future if today we won't take each other's hands and we won't start changing this world. And if we won't refuse this consumer format of society. As you said today, I work in the polymer processing. We have a huge enterprise. We precede more than 1,000 tons of polymers. It's polyethylene and polypropylene. And I can say confirmly that we recycle maximum 5% of polymer waste that are formed in whole Russia. 95% go to the landfill. Some of them may actually end up in the ocean, and this is a huge problem. And what is more devastating, that no one helps us. This is private business. And this is private investments and on volunteer basis. Even in our business, which actually have a goal to help the nature, to somehow get the planet cleaner. We buy waste, even strange soundly, we buy garbage and we clean it, recycle, we sell it afterwards. And of course, such format in our world, it will lead to some catastrophe, for sure. Because people are not interested to actually clean the planet. They are interested to gain money. This monetary unit cash system which we have right now, it's absolutely wrong. We need to change it completely. We need to people's mind and the way of thinking should be changed. We should move towards that, towards helping our planet. We polluted and we polluted our planet, and I think we destroyed our planet, and I think we need to refuse this path. We actually unite. We should unite and give future for our generations to understand our purpose of living. That's why thank you so much for every one of you, what you're doing. That is so great that you are here, and unfortunately there are not many like-minded people. It's just wonderful that there are such channels like yours, that there is such a community as Allatra, and because we can unite and somehow influence our future together and start building a better future together and involve more and more people, like-minded people, to open people's eyes, to tell this truth, to enlighten people and share such stories and do actually something good. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Alexander. And it's so valuable to hear this kind of feedback from a person who's directly involved into recycling of polymers and knows the situation from the inside. This is really, really great to have you here with us. And now let's move on to the second part of our international roundtable, where we prepared some individual questions for each one of our guests. But first, let's watch a video about the ecological situation on our planet. Please, let's put it on.
2021, 6,885,900 kilograms of plastic thrown into the ocean, 216 billion of kilograms of toxic waste released into the environment, 23 billion 250 million metric tons of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere. Our beautiful planet. It could have been a real paradise, an ideal place for human, animal, and plant life. But we turned it into a garbage dump. The air, the water, the earth, everything is poisoned. Back in the 5th century BC in Athens, a first known edict was issued forbidding dumping of garbage in the streets and ordering garbage collectors to dump waste no closer than 1,000 double steps, about 1 mile from the town. Just like 2,500 years ago, dumping in landfills remains one of the main methods of waste disposal. Have you noticed how far our technology has evolved? Every minute, 1 million plastic bottles are sold around the world, which is 20,000 bottles per second, and only about 9% of them are recycled. One plastic bottle takes 450 years to decompose. In Beijing, there is no more room for garbage in landfills. In the past decade, 14 landfills around New York City have been filled up to the limits. The Gazipur landfill in India is as high as the Taj Mahal. Its height is approximately 73 meters and it occupies a space of 40 football fields. The Gazipur landfill was even equipped with warning lights, so that planes or helicopters would not accidentally hit it. At the same time, Russian landfills occupy 4 million hectares. This equals the area of the Netherlands or Switzerland. The waste material decomposes there, emitting methane and other chemicals, permanently poisoning the soil and air and contributing to the greenhouse effect. The landfill gas gets into the groundwater and then into the water bodies, from which drinking water is taken. Incineration of waste materials leads to the release of dangerous gases containing toxic heavy metals, cadmium, mercury, and plumbum. Entering the human body, they affect the blood and nervous systems, create risks of genetic defects, and promote the development of cancer. The new report of the Children's Fund, UNICEF, says that around 1 in 3 children, up to 800 million globally, have extra high lead levels in their blood, which can cause intellectual impairment and even death. 1 truck of plastic is dumped into the ocean every minute. This is expected to increase to 2 per minute by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. By 2050, this could mean there will be more plastic than fish in the world's oceans. and it forms vast islands of up to 16 million square kilometers. This corresponds to the size of Europe, India, and Mexico combined. Garbage was found even at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, namely 3,500 man-made objects. Ocean plastic is pernicious to all its inhabitants. For example, on the coast of Spain, a dead sperm whale was found. Its stomach contained 29 kilograms of plastic, which resulted in the mammal's death. All this shows how terrible the consequences of global pollution are. Millions of living organisms are suffering and dying right now because of our irresponsibility. Food chains are broken, whole species are on the verge of extinction, and all of this will eventually affect us. A team of researchers from the University of Tasmania found microplastics even in the ice layers of the coast of Antarctica. Previous studies have shown that microplastics in ice lead to its rapid melting due to heat absorption. Unfortunately, not only the Earth and its entire biosphere has suffered at our hands, but so has space. Scientists have estimated that there are currently about 128 million pieces of space debris that are 1 millimeter across or larger. The speed of these particles can be enormous, up to 14 kilometers per second. They can penetrate the protective cover of satellites and orbiting stations. As a result, 3,000 satellites have already failed and have become junk themselves. Such incidents could cause a cascade of collisions and breakdowns in orbit. And if that happens to just a few major stations, we're excluding satellite television, the internet, GPS, and mobile communications. Scientists suggest that at some point humans will no longer be able to launch new satellites into orbit and space will be completely closed to us. We sort waste by product type. We implement some of the hardest ocean cleanup projects. But what happens to this raw material in the end? Today, we don't know how to recycle waste without harming the environment. And the rate of reuse is very low because it is not cost-effective for most industries. And at the same time, we have massive oversupply. The largest manufacturers of automobiles, branded clothing, and equipment strive to maintain a high level of demand for their products through constant updates of versions or collections. Producers prefer to store surpluses in warehouses rather than sell them off, as this will lead to price drop and loss of image. In order to force consumers to buy more and more new products, manufacturers began to deliberately produce products with a limited lifetime. Have you noticed that products made 20 or 30 years ago are much more reliable? Have we really lost the ability to make high-quality products? No, it's just not profitable anymore. We consume more and more without noticing that soon we'll be buried under our own garbage.
So this is our present, and we can think about our future, knowing all these facts, viewing and watching all these pictures. And we understand that, as it was said in the video, that nowadays the most valuable thing is what gives you some profit. Yes, but lots of people every day are uniting, and lots of them are united now to change the situation. And as Alexander, as you've said, that Today it is crucial to change our views, our understandings about our own life and the life of the whole planet, yes? And could you please share with us, as a specialist, extend the topic of ecological situation and about recycling in particular?
Friends, you know, regarding the environmental situation in general, I cannot give any objective evaluation on the whole, but regarding the recycling of waste, I can share only subjectively about the Russian market, because we do not work with Europe or Asia. Basically, we cover Russia and maybe CIS countries like Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and partially Ukraine. Right now, this separate collection of waste and garbage, which is organized at the governmental level, does not work at all. Unfortunately, this is just like a demonstrative measures, maybe some kind of washing of funds, the budget, because all the garbage, which we even have separate containers for plastic, for carbon paper, for glass waste, but conscious people, they do try to sort waste and sort garbage, but then a big, huge garbage machine comes, takes everything away altogether and brings this to the field, to the dump. And basically this dump situation, the situation with the dumps is not very good as well, because there are no some orders of subsidies from the government, so the dump grounds actually, they bury waste, and this is the simplest way for them to sort of deal with the waste. It's easy for them to bury everything in one place and open the same dump in another place. So there is a certain exclusions when certain dump sites try to sort garbage, to install certain equipment, but basically this is only a commercial component, and everyone understands that when you sort out metals and separately polymers by types and also paper waste, they can then sell them in the market and earn some profit, and maybe improve their financial status. But this is again not that level of consciousness which we need, not level of awareness. They do not contribute to cleaning the planet, but they just act in favor of commercial profits. And such processes as our company, such big factories, at least in Moscow region, we have 3 companies like this, and we have to buy garbage from companies, buy it, because nobody gives it for free, and we have to buy it quite for a big price. For example, a ton of good sorted plastic waste will cost about $500, just for you to understand, and that's the situation. Hence, this garbage comes to our site, and you know, when people treat it sort of professionally, they sort it correctly. But if people just try to earn some profits, they still get we still get plastics with some contaminations, contaminants, with biological waste, some remnants of organic substances, and we have to clean it all, to process, and then we try to clean and give out a finished clean product, more or less clean product. But again, it's impossible to make, for example, a film for food products from this plastic, because it will not be safe. So basically, our customers, those who buy our products, they mostly use these plastic goods for some technical items, nothing relating to food, nothing relating to in interaction with the life of people. So, like some furnishing material, maybe some technical tubes, pumping elements, etc. So, we have partial processing, but if everything would be in a proper way and we could recycle at least 90-95% of plastic polymers, then there will be many more factories like ours, and we would be able to recycle waste more efficiently. But now our factory recycles 1.5 thousand tons of waste per month, but we cannot do more because our equipment cannot cope with all these plastic weights. So basically, here we need to have some people's awareness, and people should understand that they have to change their attitude to waste, they have to change their approach, and also at the governmental level, there have to be some support, some proper legislation, just like they do it in Europe. Because in Europe, the picture is much more attractive, let's say, and up to 95% of polymers are processed in Europe, and they get to the processing factories. They bury nearly 0% of polymers. But in our country, probably there are other problems which we have to deal with. So we unfortunately face this situation. The garbage is just buried, although these are useful fractions which can be recycled and used in production anew. For example, these polymers which are used for bottles, these are basically the polymers which can be recycled and used again in packaging for food products. So we can make again the bottle for water and without being afraid for any harmful substances, monomers. This polymer is free from that also. Since I'm dealing with polymers for quite a long time and I deal with recycling and processing of polymers, there is such a kind of polymers as silicon. It's totally ecologically harmless. It's a natural material. Basically, it's processed organics, and silicon provides us with an opportunity to produce plastic goods just as we do with polymers, which we get from oil, like bottles, plastic bags, toys. This is possible to do it of silicon, but at certain point, somebody won in the market competition, and they just stopped the development of this industry, because everyone understands that if we switch to silicon, a great portion of funds will leave their owners, and they are afraid of that. They do not allow other trends to develop, although silicon is totally environmental friendly material which we could use endlessly and repeatedly, and it is totally harmless for human health. So we do have to change our consciousness, everyone's consciousness, to ourselves, our friends. We should reteach our children and convey to them some new knowledge about what is happening. But step by step, I think that we can break the old system and bring about and build a new creative system. Otherwise, we'll face a collapse. Just like the collapse of the entire humanity and the planet. If we do not do something now, we will not have any future. Now we have a chance. Thank God we have good technology, internet, and we can gather together, communicate, we can spread information through internet and social media, through such conferences, but we need more awareness. People should know more information, and we should spread this information about our environment, about our circle of friends, relatives, acquaintances, and this way we can change the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexander. Thank you for such a detailed information about the specific materials that can be replaced. And I would like to ask Logan, since you already mentioned this heartbreaking example with the whole city being burnt and your family being affected by it, I wanted to ask what actually happened after. How did people react? Were they helping each other? Because I feel like one of the problems is that when we watch media, movies, especially in the movies, right, when some catastrophe happens, we see what kind of image is being shown to people, what kind of reaction, right? Everybody's trying to save themselves. We usually see one hero somehow saving himself and his family when the rest of the world is going down. And why is this image being pushed on us? Why don't we see examples of people helping each other and living by the values of common surviving, common helping each other? In addition, maybe you could share your vision of the values that should dominate in each individual in order to react in a better way in such a situation. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Tali. So even though the fire was an incredible tragedy, 84 people died, and 18,000 homes burned, materialistically devastating. It was also spiritually igniting and inspiring, and the community united as best could be done. Many people were displaced. A lot of people came forward to help in any way they could. And these type of events, they really, for lack of a better way of saying it, burn through or cut through all of the illusions of this materialistic culture and really grounds us in the values that really do matter most, of love and community and connection and service and heart and love. And so that was inspiring to witness. There was a lot of major fundraising done and helping people. Many people lost their job, all of their possessions, and their home all in the same day, a complete reset of their entire lives. And so that was, of course, very tragic. And many people came forward to serve and to help. And the challenge is that instead of this kind of reactive change, to be more and more proactive, to see the situations coming and to do what we can prior to this. Also, without growing networks like the Creative Society and these conferences and growing communities linked throughout the world, oftentimes these events come and then they pass, and then people can forget, or there's not a continual momentum built of a well-organized infrastructure to support people having a platform to serve, to contribute, to participate in a way to unify all of our efforts. And that's why the technology is a really important piece, and the growing global community, and to help this paradigm shift that is so crucial. There's so many people of incredible altruism and humanitarian orientation in the world, people who really want to do everything they can to help, and that there isn't currently a large-scale platform to be able to help provide where can I help, what can I do. So I see that to be a very inspiring part of all of this, is to have a kind of a global hub of a place and resource and greater organized effort for humanity to unite in wise, unified action now and in the future, as we have this very short window of time. As these excellent videos have been presenting, that the global crisis is incredibly severe, and we have a short window of time. So it is now the time to act and to come together. And this major shift of paradigm, which I think is so important as well, is that how the external reflects the internal, and how to shift out of competition into collaboration, and from fear into courage and love, and from apathy into action, and to help heal the emotional wounds and the international emotional wounds and scars between different cultures and nations in the world. And I see that in addition to all of the physical circumstances in the world and the absolute importance of addressing all of the exoteric issues, there are some very important esoteric issues to be addressed, and global forgiveness initiatives and global healing initiatives and things like this could also complement and help inspire humanity, because a lot of people can have fear and depression and pessimism, and these energies also interfere with our capacity to hold positive vision and take constructive action.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Logan. Yes, that's true that we really should know the information to act. We should know why to act, how to act. We should know that there are millions of people who are just acting at this time, at this very moment. Yes. And you're right that it is very important for us to see, yes, why it is so important for us to know what is happening because of this fear, because sometimes we can say that this information is frightening us. Yes, it's just like I don't want to know all these ugly things that are happening from the one side, but from the other side, if you don't know what is happening, you are not aware of the urgency to change this situation. Yes, you don't understand that this is the high time to change our world, to change our attitude to the planet, to each other. And so this is very important to share this information, to talk to people. That's why millions of people are talking today about creative society, like a solution to all this crisis, not just to frighten with the information, but just to bring this consciousness, yes, to elevate it, to understand what is happening. And I would like to ask Aydin, you are an entrepreneur, and do you see that your colleagues are becoming more aware of the ecological and climate crisis? And how important is it to share this information and choose humane ways in treating each other? The floor is yours, please.
Да, спасибо, Анна.
Yes, thank you, Anna. Of course, nowadays it is very important to share this information that was voiced during the conference, especially about the crises that are happening now. I would like to emphasize that what I said here, what Alexander has said, that it is first of all the crisis of humanness. Even 30, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, people were more humane than now. So, if you look at mass media, what is being promoted, there's so much violence going on. There's propaganda of egoism, of selfishness, of dominating. So, pure human qualities like love, kindness, they are not popular anymore. It is now popular to be, successful, rich, regardless of the means. So, this consumerism, even one generation ago, for example, in Tuva, beforehand, people actually took what they needed for themselves when they hunted. But now people are worse than animals. For example, when animals kill, they kill for something that is for the present day. And for rich people, they have like too much of everything. And this consumerism, and what was shown in this video, that a lot of goods are being produced, and a lot of goods are not being sold, they are simply in the warehouses. And therefore, I believe that it is important to talk about this and to talk about the Creative Society project, because it is the only way out of this consumerist format of society, that because in this format, these qualities like egoism keep growing, Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aydin. Thank you. Definitely, these qualities, the question of qualities is very important. But another important question I see in here is why people are not being proactive in case where each person can make such a huge difference. And that's why I would like to ask Zakia Khan, as a person who's personally took responsibility, who's saving people's lives, what was the tipping point? What was that thing that made you believe in yourself and make this decision that I'm taking personal responsibility, not waiting for anyone else to do something good. I'm doing what I think is right myself.
Thank you. Thank you, Turley. First of all, I will start with all three topics, which is already a big concern and which is related with the global crisis. The three topics what we are carrying is all interrelated, and that is all what we have to keep our concern on. We are talking about ecological problems, like Alexander has explained a very good, well-defined everything. And even in the clip, we could see that India, you already shown that is having a huge mess, which is there as equal size to the Taj Mahal, which is not surprise to me. It's not that only one dam, okay? There is a lot of more dams which is there. And even the situation what Logan has faced right now, or in fact not only Logan, but the Australia and other countries I have faced, even Kuwait, where the tire burning is so huge. What all crises are leading us toward? That is leading us toward the global crisis, which is creating such a lot of difference in the climate, such a lot of difference in the situation, that what we are facing now, because of the climate, we are already facing some crisis. There is no rain somewhere, there is huge rain somewhere. There is extreme cold somewhere, there is huge humidity somewhere, okay? This is some kind of imbalance in the nature, which is man-made, man-created. Of course, we cannot ask the nature to adapt according to us. The nature is already beautifully built. They have some balancing things in them, and we are trying to impose our man-made created things on the nature, and that is repaying us. That is repaying this flood, drought, fire, glaciers. What is this all? This is all nature pay back to us. And still we are in the mode of discussion. We are thinking of planting 1 tree or maybe 100 trees. Have you calculated, even though if I plant 100 trees, like I have taken this purpose, I have started planting a lot of, but what exactly is coming out of that? Yeah, we are taking initiative that somehow is going to lead towards a situation where we could control, but that is not the solution. Why it is not the solution? Because we have created a mess, and that mess cannot be treated with planting few things or taking out this recycling our 6 resolution or anything. We have to come out in force, a vocal way, to make people understand and cumulatively work for these things. Why I'm talking this all and where exactly I'm taking this topic is, like, we have already another topic, that is AI, and we are already, like, as I told, ecological and climatic changes are producing a lot of problem. First, like, somebody is living there, all the hereditary property, all the wealth and everything, and what they happen, they are going to a condition where they are as a refugee or migrant, okay? So these migrants, when they are coming to another city, what is happening? Unemployment is increasing, the rate of the prices and other things are increasing. If some field is very cultivated field, and then suddenly it is full with drought or maybe flood, what is happening? Again, the grain price is increasing. And in this particular situation also, what we are busy in doing is we are busy in keeping the farmers' mouth shut. We are trying to make them voiceless. We are trying to decrease them. How could do with? From what the hell we are going to produce, how the hell we are going to give the food come to that level of food capacity, if we are not helping our farmers, if we are not giving them that good equipment. Now, if I talk about the another topic, which is AI, okay, which is already given a big loss of unemployment to our society. What exactly AI is doing? AI is used with some particular very powered people to organize season according to their own choice. And it's not just one person, it's a complete chain, and a lot of strategy and planning is working out. And what this all planning is going toward? Is this something related to one country plan, or it is related to something? No, it is going toward the plan which is already under new world order. If we talk about COVID, the pandemic, which is not even finished yet and has given a lot of losses in the life, in the economically, unemployment and everything. Well, have you gone through, I believe you all must have gone through, was the life of a person was less important than a coal mine work? And then India was begging. I'm very sorry that I'm talking this, ill points of our country. But this is not about just one country. This is happening everywhere. Wherever the people is trying to make voice, they are being silent. All the political people who are raising voice, all the activists who are raising voice, all the media person who are raising voice, why they are getting silent? Why they are either in some corruption cases, or why they are under inside the bars, or why they are been under the government custody? Why these things are happening? Why we are not left to raise our voice? Because this all things are leading us toward one new world order system. Now, if you be talking about this all crisis, how we are going to resolve and what exactly is motive, like if you talk about AI, there is a scenario, like if I'm trying to quote one point from my Quran, okay, which is mentioned that there will be a time when the people will be shown imaginary, illusory fairy world and fairy land, and they will accept that, okay, this is the best for us. And when they will enter that, they will come to know it is hell. That's what is going to be done by AI. We have shown the public, innocent public, who are adapting all the equipment and rushing toward it, a very fairy land. But the truth is that we ourselves is cutting our edges. We are going toward a huge unemployment, which is going to make the poor to a deadlines, and to middle class to fight back or push toward the poverty. There will be only few elites who will be able to survive well. We are not letting the farmers to grow. How we are going to eat? Can you consider your coming 4th, 5th, 7th generation to have the same facility grains rate? No, definitely not. It will be increase in another multiplication of zeros. Means if we are purchasing 10 rupees grain, it will be ultimately in the 7th generation, it will be another at least 3 added zero, which will be counting 1,000 rupees per. So this, and still the government, and not just one government, worldwide, the public is not considering taking this issue serious, because they are ready to sustain themselves on the basis of capsules. They are ready to And this capsules will be costing lakhs of amount, which will ultimately leading only the elite people to consume, and the others will be left to death. Why this climate suddenly started, I don't deny there was a ecological system, there was a climate system which keep on changing after decades, but not this fast and movement. Every time, like India, within this 3 to 5 years, we have seen a lot of places facing a lot of kind of cyclones, a lot of kind of floods. In fact, you can even say man-made flood. The Kerala, which has got the flood, where there was no sense of flood, it was created because of some technical reason. It was not a nature flood. It was a technical reason which raised that, flood. So this is not just one place, because I am from India, I know much more about you. You must be, since we are unitedly talking, there will be a wide world people who will be able to explain that it's not just one country, it's almost each and every country facing such issues. Now, if I say, talk about this Turkish event, they have also got some fire. So that fire was, even after a few days, it was announced that was because of, some reason created by few people. They were in forest enjoying and then left the bunch of fire and which caught. So this, like, just leaving the things on the climate, nature is not going to resolve the issues. What I'm trying to say, like he asks, why individually you take that step? Because it's time to take individually and with the public gathering. Even if I'm taking individually these steps to talk about something and trying to make 100 people understand what exactly is the crisis and how to come out of this crisis, that 100 will go to another 100 and will speak about it. And this is the biggest thing which we have to do. This is what I loved about Alamtara, that your people are again doing the same thing and trying to come out with those things. So these are these are the main reason why it inspired me to work out and take the decision that okay, I won't wait for the government, I won't wait for the political ruling political party to come out and give us a solution. It will be me, and then I will inspire others to come out and do the same. And there's non-stop topics, non-stop comments, and a lot of things which may be coming in my mind, but looking at the time strain, I think I should close off now. Thank you.
Thank you, Zakia. Thank you so much for your for your story, for sharing all these understandings on and these details on the situation. That's true that we should, as we've already said, that it is very important for us. We should spread the information. We should investigate more to know the truth, to share this truth between each other, because when you don't know what is going on, you don't know how to solve this situation, you don't know where to move, what will be your next step. So this is why it is vitally important today to talk about all the things we can see, we can analyze, we can gather the information and tell the truth to the people. This is very important, and this is also our responsibility from every person who knows it should talk about it. Yes, because our silence is what also killing us. And we've talked about ecological crisis, and we see that really we are this consumerist format of our society is what makes us such people that want to gain more money or gain some position or just consume and consume, but we are those people, every one of us, who can change the situation, and we have the solution. We know now that the most serious problem which we are facing now even more serious is climate crisis, because we can clean our planet, we can consume less things, so we can change our attitude, our vision, our minds. We can change lots of things, knowing that we are polluting so much our earth. But some things that we can't change is crisis which concerns climate disasters. It's climate crisis, and it was the key topic of the conference, a global crisis. This already affects everyone, because we should know that even now, unfortunately, if we repair the situation with our ecology, with our earth, it won't help us to survive. But we should do it, surely, but we should also know that what things are happening now, just right now, all over the world. And luckily we have the solution, and this solution is the creative society, the union of the whole humanity, because when we are united, we can use the technology, we can better our technology that can help us to survive during all these disasters and all these bad things that are happening. The unity is really the answer today, and I just want to invite everyone to watch now the video where we can see what is happening with climate change right now, and we will see what has happened during this year only. Let's see this video, please.
The climate is changing before our eyes. People are losing their lives. Each of us can be left homeless at any moment. Are you ready to hear the truth from eyewitnesses of the events?
And Texans statewide was reported over 2,500 of the highest low record temperatures ever recorded.
This summer, Western Canada has faced extreme heat, and many cities have reached record high temperatures. The Canadian Rocky Mountains have been burning more than they have in the past 2,000 years.
There was an anomalous, catastrophic event in Cuba when a strong tornado struck some municipalities in the city of Havana. This sudden and violent event caused great horror and anxiety among the population.
The people of Tabasco are now very afraid because the season of rain and hurricanes is damaging a lot of houses. Everything is flooded. In an instant, the downpour causes people to lose everything they worked for.
There have been some violent storms lately that are changing people's lives. They not only affect people's lives, but also deprive them of their means of subsistence, leaving people stranded and terrified, not knowing where to go or what to do.
So it was from one extreme to the other. We were on fire at one point, and then we were underwater.
Till March 20th, we had 40,000 aftershocks, the largest of which were of magnitude 5.7.
Unprecedented frosts have blanketed much of France. There hasn't been a cold snap like this for decades.
Really, I imagine 2019, I hear I have a cyclone in Fani in India. I seen it in my own eyes. I witnessed to myself. So I really lost to my paddy fields. I really lost to many animals also. And I hear many people destroyed their home and they are also homeless.
Several flooding occurs every 4 to 5 years and covered 60% of the land mass. The condition of vulnerable people during natural disaster is just unthinkable and undesirable. It's always difficult to describe how miserable their life was.
People are worried because they actually don't know what to expect or what to hope for.
最初の計画から10年以上経過したにもかかわらず
Decades have passed since the original flood control plan was developed, but it has never been implemented. People are still in danger.
避難指示が出されたのが堤防が決壊する4分前だったということを話を聞きました。
There was a freezing rain in Vladivostok. Trees and cars were covered with an ice crust. Many people were left without electricity, without water, without heating.
We were cleaning it all by hand. And one man said, "I'll help you with the first bridge. Then I'll go get the tools I have at home. I'll take my tools and we'll help finish the job." The man returned with his tools in his hands. I asked, "How is your house?" "I don't have a house." He kept on cleaning because what else did the man have to do?
Part of the country is flooded. What is happening in Belgium now is a huge tragedy for its residents. In some areas, the river level has risen by 2.5 meters. Houses are flooded. Cars are floating along the streets that have turned into rivers. People climb onto the roofs waiting for rescuers, but the water is coming up and no one knows what to expect next.
Deadly volcanic eruptions have been experienced in other parts of the continent, and the latest ravaged parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo, which caused severe damages and casualties, and also forced thousands of people into evacuation and also into terrible living conditions.
At times it's really extreme. There's flooding, so sometimes people are affected, like people end up drowning, but mostly people have to move with their families. They lose property.
Trees and so many agricultural products destroyed. This is the first time we've seen such instances happening in this country.
So when I witnessed the disaster of the climate, about the migration of the farmers from the riverside to the around the town, and lead their life on the roadside because of the climate change disaster or the overflooding of the river affected their area, their agriculture, their home.
Local media do not report on some events which is happening in China right now. So a logic question arises, why are people not given the true information about what is happening with the climate right now?
Now we have to start to solve this problem intensely, because soon it may be too late.
I also witnessed the storm that hit us in Saarland about a week ago. Apart from flooded basements and fallen trees, we were not as badly affected as people in neighboring regions who face severe flooding, landslides, and mud, lava-like flows that buried entire houses and much more. People are still without water, without electricity, without means of communication, without food. They are still trapped on rooftops and cannot cross some roads because the roads are no longer there. We were predicted that climate change would be tangible in 50 or 100 years, but now we know that it is very close and very real, even here in Germany.
Doch jetzt wissen wir, dass sehr nah ist und sehr real, auch hier in Deutschland.
Hello, I'm David from Germany. Just recently, we had severe flooding. People were shocked and not ready for this. Suddenly, we saw how just a few hours of heavy rains caused flooding that washed away cars and houses. This was really shocking to all of us. We were in a state of shock as something that seemed to be very distant was right here at our door. If we take a look a few years back, we must note that extreme weather events occur due to climate change. We had a severe drought in Germany during the last 3 years, and now suddenly there is such a flood. There is no doubt that the climate is changing, and because of this, the frequency of these extreme events is increasing. Even such an industrialized country as Germany was not, in my opinion, properly prepared and proved to be quite vulnerable and susceptible to such events. People were not warned and were not evacuated in advance. Obviously, the disaster management service did not work. If we take a look at the climate situation in the world, we see that new record-breaking droughts, flooding, and forest fires occur everywhere. Human life is in danger more often, and now it has affected Germany. Many people lost their lives, and more than 1,000 people are still missing. We, people, feel that we need to do something. Only by uniting, we have at least some chance to cope with such situations, which are becoming more frequent. Creative society is a solution for change in the society, exactly in which a human life will be the highest priority, in which necessary conditions to protect human life throughout the world will be created. Just imagine what the least developed countries will do. These countries have no opportunities whatsoever to overcome extreme climatic events, and human life is not protected there. I think that in recent days, we, Germans, have realized how important it is for us to unite, to stick together, and not to let anyone divide us. Only together do we have prospects for the future. Exactly such a prospect is what the creative society offers. It's our only way out, because only in unity can we protect human life and ensure a future for us and future generations.
Breaking News on Alatra TV is an international project which is created by volunteers from all over the world with the purpose of informing about large-scale, anomalous, and uncommon natural disasters. This is daily comprehensive analysis and monitoring of information about the state of the planet. People break silence in order to convey the truth about the climate crisis and the way out of it. To survive, we need to act together today. Otherwise, tomorrow will be too late.
Climate change won't ask us where do we live, how much money we earn, or something like that. It doesn't care of it. There's no sense in it for climate change, for the climate, yes? So we should take it in mind, and we should know that and understand that no one will survive from this global changes unless we are united. And this is the only way, because now this format, this consumerist format, doesn't allow us to maintain, to survive, to help each other. Yes, we have too many problems, and we don't see that anyone now is trying to find the way out. But luckily we have the way out, which is called the creative society, because this is something different to what we are living, to the world we are living now. And why? Because the life of each person is the most valuable in the creative society. And when we understand it, there's no division. We can't separate us from other person. Does any one of us want to become a climate refugee, or that some other person become a climate refugee? No, no one wants it. So what can we do today to help to ourselves, to the whole humanity. Surely we can talk about this way out, the creative society, to change our values, to unite with these values and to create another world. We are not distracting, or we don't want to just make some battles, some fights against this format we are living in now. We just want to create something new and to choose this new. We want to live like human beings deserve to live. So this is very important, once again, to share this information with people and surely to tell to everyone, to every person on the planet, that we have a way out. We have this solution, which is called creative society. So I would like to ask Zakia, what do you think? What can everyone do now? What simple actions to inform the entire population of the planet?
As you told, that we are really doing a great job by creating this way out for individuals and for each and everyone to know about the creative society and get involved into do deeper and deeper, so that it's not just me. Like, my responsibility will be to make another 100 aware about these things, and now that 100 person's responsibility to go further to another 100. So that is the multiplication what actually works. Otherwise, it is not going to help us. Like I told, I have rescued 8 another minor child, but that another 8 child, if grow and make another 80 child rescue, that is only going to be solving the purpose. So individually, as we know that nothing is going to work, it will be only unitedly. And since we have such a great platform by you people who are really doing a very good job sharing the disaster things, and we can really come out with the some better solution. Like as Alexander was explaining, that there is a very less cooperation from his country government, but it is not just his country government, it is everywhere same government. They are not thinking about what exactly the solution could come out from the recycling. I won't say that using a plastic is a bad idea, why I will put this point, because even the plastic was created after looking at a great disaster of the forest. A lot of deforestation was done, but this single-use plastic is really a big help for us, our upcoming generation, and everyone. So we have to understand and recreate, make them reusable, not just in a minute way, but in a bigger form. We have to understand to get it done in a bigger form, and this bigger form cannot be done until and unless the government and big bureaucrats get involved. Because as he told, buying even a rubbish is a big cost, and then after buying you have to get it recycled, you have to give it another form without destructing any kind of environment, and that is again going to calculate some amount. So we have to, not individually me from my country, but everyone. I will request every particular icons who have even 10 followers, if they come out and speak about just one thing, raise their own government to help them out to come out with some solution where we can come out with the reusable things, systems, create some better systems to reuse those things in spite of dumping them and leaving them for the nature to recover on its own. Even nature has shown us that it could recover on its own. In this pandemic, when everything was closed, the nature has proven that it can come back to its position, but we are not letting the nature do this. And disaster rates are, as we could see, it is increasing in a not a minute manner, but in a big form. So we have to take these steps as soon as possible. Even I can say, if after closing this conversation, I may write to the government to help another few NGOs, and I will try, since I am a president of National United NGOs. So I will really ask all the NGOs to come out with a letter form, and we will try to present this letter to the government to support this NGO people, which will ultimately give some employment to other people also in getting these things done. And with little minute investment, we might come out with a very nice product, which might be useful to even elite people, because they are the one who never considered to have anything recycled. So my target will be to bring up something which is again in there, which becomes a showpiece or something in their drawing room. So that will really make a big change. If they for example, if I wear a Levi's dress, that will hardly be seen, because I am a icon of another 100. But if a celebrity wear a Levi's, and like how Ronaldo done, he has put it the Coca-Cola aside, and that make the market of Coca-Cola such a disaster. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So we have to come out a solution where even the celebrity speaks, okay, this is the best solution, and we can go for it. So definitely your supports have encouraged me, and definitely it is going to encourage another thousands. You shouldn't just stop this. This is a really nice journey to bring up to such a lot of people from different places with the different language, different culture, different issues. But ultimately, we are talking about our survival. We are talking about a healthy life, a beautiful life for which we are on earth. Otherwise, we would be in hell or heaven. Who knows? So since we are alive, it's our responsibility to give a better place for our upcoming generation who will be coming soon. And, so thanks a lot. That's all what I believe and I will be doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zakia. Thank you. Yes, indeed. We want all people, and it's beautiful if celebrities or people, bureaucrats or politicians would hop on. But it's very important to understand that today a regular person, with the help of simple device like a cell phone with a selfie camera, can make much more difference than any politician some decades ago. Just a couple of decades ago, it were a few selected people who could reach out to the whole world. Now anyone can do it. That's why I would like to ask Logan. Dear Logan, what do you think is the best way? What's the simplest actions that everyone can do in order to inform people about this issue and make people believe that they can make a difference?
Thank you, Tali, and thank you all. So many things, and at the core, to really come into our sovereignty and to claim our sovereignty and our own authority in our lives, to no longer be deferring our power of action, of choice, of transformation to any external authority, to take it upon ourselves, as you're saying, to use the technologies that we have available, to use all the resources that we have available, to be fully in our sovereign God-given power, and to realize that. I feel a big part of the transformation for humanity is the empowerment of humanity. And without getting into a large discussion of human history, the individual has not often been honored in their God-given sanctity and autonomy and complete capacity. So self-empowerment, self-sovereignty, self-healing, self-transformation as the unit relates to the whole. So the more that we can continue to be more well-informed, as these excellent videos have done here today, they were very impactful for me, and this conference, this conversation. So the more that we can get more informed, more inspired, and they tend to go hand in hand, the more inspired and spirited we are and well-informed, then that naturally leads to getting more involved and taking action. So the more that we can get more inspired, involved, and well educated and informed, and then to help inspire and inform and help other people to see how they may want to get involved within our networks. So there's that. I think also the profundity of understanding this relationship between the collective planet and our inner planet, the external environment and our internal environment. And the more that we can purify and transmute our fear and conscious, subconscious fear, I see a correlation personally between fossil fuels and fear. Fear's not bad, fear's not wrong. Fossil fuels aren't bad and wrong. They were kind of a primal, motivational, evolutionary fuel to get us up to where we are, and it can't take us any further. So we're at this threshold from instinct and intelligence to intuition, to this quantum leap in consciousness. And that happens within each individual, within groups, within nations. So this profound paradigm shift. So to be the change we want to see, to go through that transformation ourselves, to model that, to live it by example, and to be the peace, to be the love, to be the fearless, courageous, inspired action in the world, and to see that profound correlation that as we each continue to grow, purify, transform ourselves, that then we model that to those around us and to the world. And the last thing I'll suggest is this paradigm shift from anything that, like you were saying, Anna, anything that's separative, anything that's divisive, to really look at that, whether that's gender, whether that's nationalism, whether that's class divide, to continue to unite and to transcend these lies and these illusions of separation and of disempowerment, that I can't do it or that I don't matter, that all of us can and all of us are, and we will do this together, and to hold that sacred space and positive vision for the future that we want to have happen, and to ground that every moment, and to not give in to the temptations of fear or doubt or pessimism. And so I'll leave it at that. It's been a real honor to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Logan. Yes, it is really a very great thing to have the opportunity to inspire other people. So we just, we know what is happening. We know what to do to change it. We know where we would like to find ourselves. We know how we see, how we would like to see our future, and we know what to do. So since we are brainstorming about on how to inform the whole humanity of all these things that we already know, I would like to ask Alexander, we would like to know also your opinion about it. What do you think? How can we spread this information to the entire humanity?
Yes, friends. Well, actually, everything is very simple. So first of all, we need to, first of all, inform this network of our friends, explain the problem, explain the situation, and I do this all the time. I constantly inform all my friends, all my acquaintances. I try to explain the topic, especially of the work that with my colleagues, and generally the whole picture of the world, the ecology, and all the problems. So, I like to give an example, like that our world is a ship that is moving in the ocean. So, but actually it's not in the ocean, but it moves in space. So we are its passengers. We are not, masters of Earth. We are not proprietors. We are passengers that are moving along. And this ship is actually has a lot of leaks, and water in lower decks already goes in. But those who are above, they don't see it, unfortunately, and they believe that everything's fine. That they're playing different games and eating well and so on. So, but lower decks already experienced this. Some people are already knee deep in water. Some have actually drowned already. So until lower deck people will, get up and inform about the problems of the upper decks, no one will understand what is going on, what is happening now. So it is necessary, it's vital to tell everyone, to show these problems. So this is a simple math. Resources are not limitless. Also, we cannot infinitely, dump garbage around the planet. So the whole ship will be in garbage. The whole ship will have leaks. So therefore, it is vital to inform everyone, to convey this information to everyone. So I'm using like different chats and different game methods. So some people are playing games, some people go to the movies, some go to some mass events. So just get acquainted with people and not unobtrusively. You not scare people, but especially, but you can tell people what's going on. So we don't need to frighten people that you have just several years, and so that they will be scared. Try to do everything in these 2 years, but we need to unite. We need to plant trees. We need to clear oceans, rivers, lakes. We need to make come up with some scientific developments in order to cultivate those waste landfills. So a friend of mine works in the project, very interesting project. They work with the so-called fuel elements recycling, and they're developing, but they are not giving way because it's economically unprofitable. So you can't make money on that. So when we bring to people that not money is the important thing, but survival of mankind as a species and survival of our grandchildren, of our descendants, then people will actually think and stop and think about this and reconsider their worldview. So we need to begin to convey this information in everywhere. So in a few handshakes, we will be able to inform the whole world and start changing, start making the change. And the next step will be to change something, like come up with some projects. There are interesting films like Geostorm, when people having united build a planetary system of against environmental problems. So there are good examples how to convey this information. We are mobile, we have networks, we have social networks, we have chats, so we can call our acquaintances. The main thing is like to not to give up, because as I like to say, my friends, we can do nothing, like continue living like we do now, but for sure it is inevitable that the format we're living in is doomed to distinction. But we can make some effort. Yes, we will have to work a little. We have refuse, give up some benefits, some we have to we can revolve our values a little, but this will be for the benefit of all humanity, for continuation and procreation of our species. So this is worth doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a beautiful analogy, actually, about the lower decks and the upper decks. It really resonated with me. And let me ask Aidin if you would like to share your vision of the most simplest way to inform people, in your opinion.
Да, спасибо, друзья. Вот, согласен со всем, что говорили до этого. Вы знаете,
yes, I agree, friends.
Сейчас живем в такое время, когда можно общаться с
With everything that's said before.
благодаря интернету, благодаря соцсетям.
Right now, we live in such a time that we can talk to each other thanks to internet, thanks to social media.
Yes, we can post stories. And that's what I'm doing, actually. But in consumer format of society, life is arranged in such a way that every person is forced to survive, is forced to earn his living, to pay his loans, so to survive in general. And our mind overrides every day this importance of this information. So we must not forget, we must not go into this routine, and we must continue informing people about the entire picture, the complete picture of what's going on, so that there will be an understanding. Unfortunately, people somehow close, they deny. Consciousness tell them, when we write them, that it's not interested for me, or they just ignore it. But nonetheless, we need to continue. We need not to give up. We need to continue talking about this. So using social networks to inform all people, all friends that we have, because actually all people want to live in happiness, in joy, and that their children and children of their children will continue to live. So when they have this information, they can do it, but when they don't, the information is kind of scattered, so they don't have a holistic picture. Like they say, an earthquake was there was a flood there, so what? So several years ago we had a very strong earthquake. People just sold, some apartments at the upper stories of the buildings, and bought some land and bought some one-story buildings. So people think that it's okay, we can adjust, but we need to realize that it will not be like that. Everything is very serious, so we mustn't give up. And we have such a saying that the whole world can be the solution. I mean, only together, uniting the whole world, we can cope with this. No country can do this alone. We need to do it in the whole world. Thank you.
That's the very true. That all of us should know that we should be united. Every one of us should be united. Yes, and I also want to remind about that. We were talking today about this ecological crisis, about the pollution which is killing us, or more correctly, will be if we say that we are killing ourselves with this pollution. But the thing that is happening today is about this, that even when you think that you're saving the planet or lives by separating plastic from paper, for example, it won't work now. So yes, we should be aware of it. We should be responsible. We should do something to make the situation better with our consumerism, with our attitude to the things that are surrounding us, to our own planet. This is no doubts we should be aware of it, but also I will remind it one more time, because as Aydin says, that sometimes our mind is just making us forget the essence of everything that is happening now. And the essence is this climate changes, yes? This what is already happening, and this won't be, we can change it just like, cleaning everything, and we should do it. But we should take in our mind always, every day, that this is what is happening with the climate. It concerns every one of us. And why we are talking about this union, about the unification of everyone, is to change the format of our society. This is the crucial thing we should understand, and we should do, change the format. And when we will change this format, we won't be so irresponsible with our own planet. Yes, so everything will be just correctly in our own life, in the life of the whole humanity. Because as we've already said, when you value the life of every person, you won't lie saying that this separation of garbage today is something that is working. In some countries, as we know, as we've seen, as we've heard from Alexander, it's just a huge lie. Yes, but when you value every life on the earth, you won't permit yourself to lie. So this is what is very important, and also would like to remind about that the project Creative Society and the site of the project, allatraunites.com, also tells us about the stages of constructing the Creative Society. Yes, so we are on the first step. We just need to inform, to let all the people know it and have this chance to decide to make this decision, yes, to say that whether I want or I don't want to live in the Creative Society. Until now, I don't know, and I know now no one that don't want to, who doesn't want to live in such society. So we just invite you who don't know what to do and how to act. We invite you to the website of this project to investigate all the information and know about the stages, the steps that we can take to create a Creative Society, to build, construct the Creative Society, and to unite. Thank you, everyone, for this, for every words, for this participation, for making right now our dream of constructing the Creative Society, for making it true, something real, our reality. So thank you very much, our viewers. Thank you, our interpreters. Thanks to everyone who is participating in this project of the whole humanity. Thank you, every speaker. Thank you very much for coming, for sharing with us, and for sharing this information with other people. This is vitally important, and so we continue inspiring each other by this. And thank you, Tali, for your company today and for your words also.
Thank you, Anna. And yes, so many people involved, and people do not even realize how much scale it is, that simultaneously on our Zoom calls, we have translations into multiple languages, even right now. And this is something that I'm so sure no one else in the world is doing this like this. It's so unique. People don't even, we should actually talk more about uniqueness of the things we're doing. And right now, millions of people around the world already participating in preparation for the next conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, which will take place on December 4th, 2021. And the main topics are going to be climate change, so is ecological crisis, and the consequences of the consumer format of the society. And all of these subjects, we're going to disclose them much more, even deeper than it was presented before. And we have to make sure that everyone understands that there is a way out of this situation, and that is Creative Society. And if you're a specialist or a scientist who is ready to tell people the truth about the current environmental situation and the climate change, or maybe if you're just a person who cares, who's concerned, please write to the following email, info@allatraunites.com, to participate in international roundtables dedicated to the conference. And if you haven't joined the Creative Society project yet, let's watch a short video together about how to do it. And see you at the next international roundtable. Thank you.